Okay, right. Thanks for joining us today, guys. We've got myself and George from UK Linkology. We've got James Dooley, serial entrepreneur, a lead gen guy. You've got over 2 million qualified leads under your belt, popular headline speaker, SEO expert, and now author of multiple books. And we've got Kasra Dash, a highly successful Scottish SEO consultant, entrepreneur, investor, speaker, owner of Masterminders coming up in Manchester, which we just talked about. And yeah, still tickets available for that, so a quick plug for you. So yeah, let's crack on. Kasra and James have joined forces to co-author this book here, and James, you guys have all got a copy. Advanced SEO Tips 2025. Today, I suppose we just want to talk about the book. So James, I was just thinking before I got on the call out, you and I especially, we span that historic space between no internet and internet, yeah, and that was a time that's obviously never going to happen again in history. And I think it gives our generation a kind of a different perspective on the importance of the ability to share information. You know, back in the day, writing a book pre-2000 was a massive privilege, and it kind of meant that you'd made it, right? I think there's still a bit of that now. I think there's still a bit of kudos attached to it. And my feeling is that I think that Google still feels that as well. So that's kind of leads me into my first question for you guys, is in a digitally focused world, you know, and I've mentioned it in my post on LinkedIn, there's a bit of an irony, why a book? Do you know what I mean? What's going on?
Do you know what? That's a great question, and yeah, maybe it's slightly a bit the old school in me of what you just mentioned there. Like once you've written a book, you feel like actually there's a bit of kudos about that. But then on the flip side to it is when you do write a book, there's a knowledge panel that comes with it. There's trust an element, but also like I do believe of like the 7-11-4 marketing strategy where you need to be omnipresent, you need to be seen in many different places. And people need to ideally see you in 11 different touch points, but for over 7 hours. Now, nowadays, a lot of people are obsessed with short form videos and short form kind of tweets and stuff like that. So I thought, well, what way can someone absorb so much information? And I thought, you know what, a book or a selection of book is a great way of kind of getting in front of them with a big, long kind of article and blog post, so to speak, but offline. So if someone wants to read it on the plane, they can do. And then obviously, with regards to this book, I wanted to wrap so many people of the best SEOs' heads into the book, so people could then basically turn around and say like, "Wow, this is a wow factor." So that for me, I don't know what Kasri. Obviously, you're a bit younger than me, so maybe less of the kudos. And what's your thoughts on books?
First of all, I forgot that you two were 107 years old, and back in your day, there was no internet, and it was all fax machines.
Great
For me, the books, I think it's a higher barrier to entry. Like anybody can go and launch a website, build some links, and get it ranking. But when it comes to like a book, and especially going out to 65 people, there's very few people in the SEO industry that would be able to pull together 65 different people with no arguments and put them all in a book. So yeah, that's the main reason why I done it. Like we were doing a video on this yesterday, me and James, and I said this book is probably the closest thing that you'll get to like a conference without actually needing to attend the conference, because you've got so many people, so many different angles, you've got so many different perspectives talking about links, talking about content, technical, semantic SEO. You've got everything.
You think, George, that's right, isn't it? Definitely.
I think it's a really good tour. I mean, interestingly, when we were in Chiang Mai listening to Hennessy, he was talking about his lead gen aspects, wasn't he, with the book itself, and so they used to send out hundreds of books every single month. I still think he still does, and it generated a lot of leads. Are you planning on doing anything with the book in terms of lead gen, trying to get more customers in the door with it?
I think from my point of view with this book specifically, it's more to elevate everyone. I feel like I have sometimes a bare bone about me where like a lot of people that don't attend the conferences, I feel like if you look at the 65 people that we chose, we went out to 67 people and 65 of them all replied and actually contributed to the book. Now, I got told that if you go out to around 60 to 70 people, about 30 would contribute. The plan was never the book to be that thick.
It's vital.
It's an absolute weapon. But I couldn't believe how many people came back and was like, I'd love to contribute, yeah. I think it's a great idea and I'd love to contribute. But I generally wanted to give a little bit back. Like, you guys are in there, so like, you guys will get stuff out of it. So by me promoting it, if they like what you're saying in your chapter, then you might go and sell some backlinks, or they might want a consult call with you, or they might go and outreach to MADs and might get some management consultants there. So it's not like we've added call to actions in every chapter and stuff like that. We tried to do it to elevate everybody else and just say, do you know what? I want to give back to the people that actually offer good value to the community and help each other and elevate each other and genuinely do good work. Because out there, you'll know yourself, I don't want it to turn into a toxic conversation, but there's a lot of bad SEO agencies out there that instead of doing good quality backlinks, they'll go and do 50 fake Twitter followers and think they're doing a job and can charge $3,000 a month. So like, I just want to try and make certain I've selectively chosen who I believe are great people that are making good quality decisions for clients, that clients are getting a return on investment. And that's, for me, that was the reason of the why I chose those people. Kasra, I don't know if your thoughts, because obviously you added a few to the list and stuff.
There's that side of it where people might be able to pick up a couple clients and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people in that book that might want to speak on stage this year and next year, and this might be the stepping stone to do that. It's like, well, look, I've been mentioned in a book along with 59 or 60, however many people. So that's the one of the biggest things for me, where it's like, okay, we've been able to speak on stage. Who else can we elevate to get up on stage that might not have the spotlight on them right now, but they might do in 6 months' time by others, maybe event organisers seeing them in this book. So, yeah, I think it's a really good start and place, and yeah.
I think what I like there's great points, Kasra. I think what James has said, you mentioned in this book, James, which I've been getting stuck into more recently, about that, you know, it's an old one, but it's a rising tide lifts all ships. And that's what I think is really good about this. Again, Kasra, you'll laugh again about going about our generation, but we tend to come from a time where people were quite selfish. There was a bit less money around. It was difficult to get your name out there, and people will push themselves forward. And it's nice to see someone like James and yourself kind of giving everyone else that lift. You know, I mean, I didn't really come out into the market until a couple of years ago, because I had that mindset that it was just me versus everybody else. And now, you know, I'm talking to people like yourselves, you know, James, Carl, and competitors, people like Joe Davis and various others from other agencies that we perhaps wouldn't even think about talking to. So I think I think the mindset behind this is extremely smart. And like you said, the first thing everyone's going to do is start posting about it. You know, I mean, I got the classic. I popped it on Facebook, and it's a hidden comment now, but it was, you know, I'm so proud of you, son. It's like I didn't like it. You know what I mean? It's like, hide the comment quick. You know, but that's the thing. People see it, don't they? And they think, you guys must be experts, and we all get that kind of imposter syndrome kind of thing. So it's nice to, you know, you see your name in print, and it does make you feel a bit more bigged up, a lot more than perhaps a blog post or maybe a podcast or something like that.
On the flip side as well, you've got to appreciate it that you deserve to be in that. Like, I don't mean this in a thing way. You deserve to be in the book, otherwise I wouldn't have reached out to you. What you're doing for your clients at UK Linkology and Reachology and your other brands and what you have, you deliver value. Like, and don't get me wrong, when we first met, there might have been times you might have said certain things, and you know what I'm like, I love a debate, so I'll be like, nah, you don't do this, you do that, and stuff like that. But like, generally speaking, you want what's best for your client, and that's so important. And this is why, like, you deserve to be in there. You're making great waves in the industry and doing great work for clients and customers and improving rankings. So
Massively appreciate that. Can I? I'm not going to go. I don't want to go too technical. It depends what kind of audience we've got, but I just wanted to just raise the idea about how this works. But knowledge panels, James. I know that you're really into personal branding, and Kasra yourself. You know, how's this going to feed in books?
Kasra, do you want to start off on that, and then?
So with books for me, it can help like tie you somebody that might not have a knowledge panel to people that are relevant in the industry. So obviously by getting like the big names, it helps elevate the smaller names, and then it's also kind of vice versa, because the smaller names might not be small names in 12 months time. So it's kind of like a investment type where like, okay, I'm going to put somebody on this book that people might not know about, but they actually do provide really good value on Twitter or really good value on LinkedIn. But then from that, then they might be able to get some speaking slots. They might start their own podcast. They might start their own YouTube channel. And then in 12 months time, they will have a knowledge panel. And then indirectly, that will be helping the bigger names out as well.
Get that.
Yeah, so for me, with regards to knowledge panels and branding, in my opinion, knowledge panels is another type of search. So now, nowadays, if you type in something like best casinos or best casino companies and stuff like that, you'll start off and you'll start seeing knowledge panels before any websites, any web pages show up. You'll start seeing knowledge panels show up. If you go typing in like best SEO speakers or best SEO experts, you might get a list of knowledge panels of people that's not like people, entities that have got a knowledge panel. So again, if I can elevate people to get a knowledge panel, it makes them better. It adds trust because it's a well-known now entity within the NLP of Google algorithms. But then also it's feeding. The more times you can get mentioned online in different places. So obviously you've seen it's gone viral on LinkedIn, on Twitter. It's like #1 now in the new releases on Amazon and stuff like that. And everyone's talking about it. And what will start to happen is even in 3, 4, 5 months time, people might pop up and you might be tagged in a post like, oh, I really like chapter number 16 by Jason Brooks. Or I really like chapter number 30 by Kasra Dash and stuff like that. And the point is that when you're getting mentioned, or Kasra Dash is an SEO expert who contributed to Advanced SEO Tips, Google bots picking that up and seeing all the mentions. But also, nowadays, now we're living in a world of artificial intelligence. The LLMs, the large language models, are picking it up. So, and they're not just crawling the website anymore. They're crawling Reddit, Quora, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere it can crawl and get information from. So you feed in the AI overview, you feed in the kind of knowledge panels. It's all branding. It's like we've mentioned it a few times, me and you old people in this group here, Jason, like be seen everywhere, be omni-channel, be omnipresent, like be everywhere. And a book is just another way of doing that. And if you're able to get that knowledge panel and improve your branding, then the add-on to that is trust. Like, okay, I must now start to trust Jason, because not only is he like mixing with the right people that are doing good things, that like someone might be wanting to buy links from UK Linkology but might be following Matt Diggity and saying his information of what he shares is really good, but then saying, well, Jason does mastermind events and George does mastermind events with these people that I follow, that I think are great people. So it just adds that trust factor to say, okay, I can put more trust into these to potentially spend more to improve rankings and stuff.
Get that? So it's kind of, in the real world, it's authority by association, and actually in the technical world, where information's being crawled and indexed and like there's calculations going on, there's authority by association as well, and that's in the form of entities, isn't it? So for those that don't know, an entity is you, isn't it? A people, place, or thing. So you're an entity, Kasra's an entity, and it's about the connections between those entities. So SEO would be an entity, right? And then Google sees those connections, and the more those connections that make sense, the more likely you're going to get a knowledge panel. It's a bit tricky when you've got a name like Jason Brooks, unfortunately. I've got an unfortunate situation where the guy was born the year before me, and he's a famous graphic designer. So I'm going to have to do a lot of work to get him out of the way.
I've got someone Royal 11, I've got Earl of Blandford or something.
That is you, isn't it?
Not me, yeah.
But again, with the right semantic triples, Jason, like with lots and lots of mentions of Jason Brooks contributed to Advanced SEO Tips 2025. Jason Brooks is an SEO specialist. Jason Brooks founded UK Linkology. The more everything surrounding who that Jason Brooks is that can link off to it, that all kind of coincides back to that, you can beat him out, no problem. It's just needing more mentions online in as many different places as you can. And in time, I think you've blown up in the last few years since you've come out, and you've been thinking like, and I think in the next 2 years you'll be amazed over how far further again you are on, that people are consistently reaching out to you saying, we want you on stage, we want you doing this, we want you at this event and stuff like that, like, because you're doing, between your UK Linkology and Reachology, you're doing good things.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay.
What have been the best ways, most impactful ways to build brand authority before the book? What other things? You're talking about 11 touch points. What other touch points have you been working on? What's been more successful for both of you?
So that's a great question, and I come back to omni-channel, omnipresent. Having not just having, let's say, UK Linkology. If you could have jasonbrooks.com or jasonbrooks.co.uk. Put all your kind of events that you're attending and going to, and who you are, and everything about you as being your central entity. That's where I would start for a personal brand, is having a Jason Brooks. Then that can, within schema, can then link off to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram, to LinkedIn, to Pinterest. If you was a graphic designer, like the other person who you mentioned, Jason Brooks, Flickr, 500px, Photo Bucket. Just being seen on every social media platform. You could even go one step further and do like all the Web 2.0s, like Tumblr, like jasonbrooks.tumblr.com, jasonbrooks.wordpress.com, jasonbrooks.weebly.com. And all you're doing is every time you're doing a case study, you're sharing that case study throughout all them different platforms. Now, there's so with AI now, and with make.com and with N88 and stuff like that, there's so many different ways. The olden days, it used to be like Hootsuite and things like that, where you can distribute your case studies or videos or photos of what you're doing. You can distribute all them out, and that's just for one person, that for the one entity. You could also then do that for UK Linkology. You could also do that for Reachology, and get everything being mentioned everywhere. And within Reachologies, the founder of Reachology is Jason Brooks, the founder is George Bamford and stuff like that. So it kind of just, as a spider's web comes out, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. If you can get on other people's podcasts and speak on other people's podcasts, again, it's expanding the reach. More people are talking about it on their social media. You've got digital PR campaigns, you've got guest posting. If you've gone and won an award, so let's say you guys go and win Best UK Link Building Agency, go and get 10 guest posts and shout and scream about the awards that you just won on different web pages. Like, it's, people think of just like link juice and page rank just to pass power. It's also to build branding. It's also for reputation management. There's so many more things to link building than just getting a do follow link back to your website. There's so much more to it, and I'd say be omnichannel, be omnipresent, be seen in as many different places as you can. Kasra, I don't know if I've missed any others there. Like, you obviously, the Masterminders event, attending conferences.
I would say the two biggest ones for me is YouTube and just being in the right room. So just networking, being in masterminds, be not just like any old business meetup either. Like being in a mastermind or a meetup that's actually got people that have got conferences. Like, for example, I'm just thinking back now, I was in a mastermind group about 3 years ago with Kyle Roof, and he gave me my first speaking gig, and that kind of just led on from there then. So, yeah, being in the right room, and then YouTube. I think if you can create content that people will actually enjoy, and you're not talking about boring old, I don't know, how to pick out anchor text and just the typical link builder YouTube channel, right? As long as you're not doing stuff like that and you're like, oh, this is what I do with topical authority and this is what I do here and this is what I do there, you'll be able to create a good following very quickly, because there's not that many people uploading to YouTube. Everyone just seems to be creating blog content thinking it's 19 84.
What I would say on that is, do you know when you said that about like some of the short, but it's great doing. Obviously, you've got a very mixed video set, Kasra Dash on YouTube. Is that if you did do some isolated videos for like anchor text, this is how we do anchor text, and you strategically let your clients know how to do it. Then go and find a good. One of the best hires you can do is go and get a social media manager that organically goes out and then goes on Reddit and types in anchor text, and anyone who's asking what strategy do you use for anchor text, go and get a decent blog post that goes into detail, and generally speaking you're looking at what's ranking, make it better than what's there. Go and do a video and maybe do a nice image explaining for anyone that doesn't know what anchor text is, and then go out on all them platforms, go onto Reddit and type in anchor text and go, here's what I think's the best anchor text strategy. I've helped you here, and it could be on Pinterest, it could be on like Facebook groups. There's Facebook groups now with 80,000, 90,000 SEOs in that group. They are 90,000 potential customers that you could go at. That's how Matt Diggity grew his following. He just used to hang about in like the proper SEO group and some other SEO groups, just provide value. When there was lots of questions asked about the same topic, he would go off, create a blog post and create a video about it. Instead of answering it with a comment, he'd answer it with a link back to his site. The referral traffic he was getting back, that's how he grew his following and became so big as what he is today. Just hanging around in Facebook groups and offering value.
Yeah, that's just how I got my first client actually many years ago, answering questions on LinkedIn. I got a lawyer noticed me in the local area. He brought me in, he gave me my first £500 a month contract. I thought I'd discovered God. I really did. But yeah, some of the stuff you've been saying there is really, really interesting. This whole omni-channel thing, I remember going back as well, we used to do things like called link wheels, and there'd be software you could buy on the Warrior Forum, which is going way back. We used to then pump this stuff out, and that was all about getting link juice. There was no real care about brand building. That was just about creating signals. But now what you're saying is these activities which appear to be, you know, they're all SEO, aren't they? Like you say, it's not about the page rank flowing around through them. It's about the words being picked up, the mentions. The difficult one with that is try convincing clients that a mention's got any value. I think we've probably had those conversations before, but I think that's something that's going to get resigned to history at some point soon.
Yeah.
Okay, you made some fantastic points there, both of you. I'm going to say now, about going back to the book, we talked already, didn't we, about why certain people made the cut. Are there any tips in there that you would like to mention, or just be a general theme in the book? One thing I did notice actually is there are obviously some contradictions in there. You're going to get that, and I kind of like that. You know, it's not been like clean edited to follow a certain kind of company line. It's just, this is what these guys are all thinking, and I think that brings us round to talking about maybe testing. I think that people are experiencing different things in different niches, right? Do you find that with the work that you're doing, certain things work in certain areas?
Yeah, so like we were actually doing a video yesterday on each chapter of the book, and we've got a question on like the bad SEO advice, right? And well, I'm not going to name any names, right? But somebody had basically named or given a bad SEO advice, and it's something that we actually do. But the thing is, like, what you typically realize, especially if you've got tons of websites or if you work across numerous different niches, one thing might work in, let's say, the gambling industry, but it might not work in local. That thing might work in local, but it might not work in e-commerce. That thing might work in e-commerce, but it might not work in affiliate marketing. So it was just funny because we both looked at each other and it was like, that's three things that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just following on from that is that we try to make the questions quite diverse. So exactly what you said there, Jason. There's different nuances. So what works in, even from monetization points of view, so what works in display ads and what works in e-commerce and what works in Amazon or what works in local can all be very, very different things. If you went and did, let's say in the iGaming sector in affiliate, you need to be heavy on backlinks. you need to buy a lot of backlinks in the iGaming sector, because that's what all the competition are doing. But if you went out and spent £30,000 on backlinks and you was a local plumber in Manchester, and you got a digital PR campaign, you spent 15,000 on guest posts, you're probably buying too many backlinks for that kind of sector, and you become the black sheep. So it's about trying to understand, like, strategically how many links do you need, where if someone went and spent 30,000 and there was on live casino, they won't even get onto page 6 yet. They need to spend in hundreds of thousands to try and get up there. So it's different strategies for different, even different niches, like you said. So from like Your Money, Your Life and supplements and stuff like that to another, you need a lot more trust signals. In finance, you need to make certain that you're ticking the boxes with regards to EEAT signals. But EEAT signals for a lot of industries are not even needed, but in certain industries they are. So that's where like awards and stuff like that can become really good, and obviously sharing that on the website. But yeah, there's definitely different nuances, and that's why we try to ask the different questions, because it's good to get people who are doing different. One, they're in different countries. Two, the different monetization methods, and three, they're in different industries, because we all might have slightly different answers for what's working for us. And that's why I wanted the collection of so many different people to offer advice, because if someone just listened to me but was in local plumbing and I was talking about iGaming on stage, following that strategy wouldn't work. So I think it's good to have that kind of collection of different people offering advice.
Definitely, absolutely. I think that's where the value in the book is as well. I think you've got to read it with an open mind as well. You know, the first thing I did, I started reading it and I started like making judgments about certain answers, and I'm like thinking, you know, mate, you don't know it all. People are doing different things in different sectors, and you've got something to learn and listen to everyone. And that's the kind of mindset I take when I go out as well, when I go talking to people. You know, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, as they say. Listen to what people have got to say. Okay, I've got just one question for you. I was going to ask you about which people you'd pick from the book to build a dream team, but I think that's a bit unfair in some ways for different reasons. If you were going to build a dream team in terms of the seats that you've got, what would you have in your dream team? You know, we're talking things like social media managers, this, that, the other. How would you build that? If you were starting tomorrow, how would you build that out as lean as possible as well? I think that's the key, isn't it? In 25, lean and fast.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think from the book, I'm not going to say, oh, I'd hire them and stuff like that. But a lot of them have like kind of made a lot of the money, and sometimes when someone's made the money, or I'd be looking, if it was from people within there that test that every day is a school day, they need to innovate. I'd say there would be certain people in there that I definitely wouldn't hire, even though they're great at what they do at present. I definitely wouldn't be hiring them, because they've already made a lot of money, and sometimes when you make money you become lazy, or you'll be looking to semi-retire. I want someone that's hungry, that sees every day as a school day and looking to innovate. I think now that AI is upon us, I think things are going to change very, very, very quickly, and I think people need to be able to adapt. I think that's probably the biggest word for 2025, be willing to adapt for what's going to be working next week and the week after, because what's working today might not be working tomorrow. So it's just making certain that you're attending conferences and events, that you are networking with the people that are testing things, because there could be another large algorithm update that comes along that wipes out 20%, or like in the affiliate space, the helpful content update wiped out nearly 50% of affiliates. And still to this day, some people don't know why. But when you start attending more and more of coming to the events, you start to understand a little bit. But I would say I'd want to have a head of social. I'd want to have someone that's full-time on AI, that just geeks out, knows every tool that there is. There's new tools every single day that's coming out. So how can they save my staff time or improve the output with regards to what semantic triples they're missing, what entities are missing off the page of what they can get on there. Now a lot of them now can run technical audits and give feedback of what they need to be doing and what's most important to what's the least most important. Can they automate social media? Can they build up like blog posts and topical authority and stuff like that? Can they segment leads? So we do a lot of lead generation. Can AI segment leads? So I definitely have someone in social, someone heading up AI, someone heading up content. So I want someone that just understands like core A style, but in a more simplistic manner, semantic SEO, that can understand and train writers for like my business tonality, and then have someone that's head of backlinks. But a lot of the time now, just use freelancers. Like there's so many different quality link building agencies or digital PR agencies out there that can do the links for you at a fraction of the price. That if you built up a team, right, then it's so much cheaper now to go to people like Searcheroo or go to people like UK Linkology to go, do you know what, I need 15 guest posts for this. Otherwise, you need to start reaching out to thousands and thousands of industry-related kind of websites, negotiating the rates. You're probably not going to get the same rates as what you guys can get. It just saves you time. Time is the thing that I want to save the most. I want to be able to scale, and then you can go out to someone that's already got the staff that can outreach and understand what a good quality link is, and then obviously go and start purchasing from them. So I don't know what for me. Have I missed anything there, Kasra, on the team of what you'd have?
I would get somebody, I suppose this kind of falls into content, but it kind of doesn't, but somebody that just geeks out on ad copy. So I kind of prefer, like I go in waves where I'll really love SEO, but then I'll hate ads, and then I'll go back round. So I think both are important to do, but I think somebody that can understand ad copy and obviously just geek out on like split testing different ad copies for PPC or split testing different ad copies for Facebook ads. I would also hire somebody that does split testing when it comes to like landing pages as well. So again, if you're running ads, especially if your aim is to rank higher on Google, you should always be doing like retargeting ads. And if you're doing retargeting ads, you want to obviously split test the landing page and stuff like that you're going through to. And then, just an AI prompt engineer would probably be the third hire. That all they would be doing is just looking at existing SOPs and figuring out how am I meant to automate this? Like, what tools can I use? Can I use NAN? Can I use Google Bard? Can I use ChatGPT, Make.com, whatever the case is? That would be the 3 or 4 hires.
There's one other, is if you do start to grow, Jason, as well, one of the best hires that you can do is a good quality business consultant or mentor. So having someone that basically turns around, if you've got problems, and it could be recruitment, if you've got problems and it could be that you can't maintain staff or the culture, people are moaning about the culture of the business, you might go out to someone like Mads, right, and he'll educate you. Look, you've got the staff in the wrong job roles or something like that. If it was someone to do with strategically, you're struggling to help rank clients' websites, and it might be that the links are good, but you probably need someone helping them out a little bit on technical SEO or on topical authority or something like that. But sometimes the biggest thing nowadays is you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes a mentor who's mentoring lots of different people can come along and give you ideas that you never once thought about. And sometimes opening that in the subconscious mind can end up being like, wow, that's the missing piece of the jigsaw that I didn't even know I needed. But now I know that I need it because a mentor's been round the houses and seen it, and then been able to offer you that advice. But that's obviously only when you're a little bit bigger.
No, I get that. Well, actually, it's strange you say that. I actually had an action coach when I first started. That was many, many years ago, and she kind of helped me to get off the floor. I remember she told me she had a 2 million turnover business, and I nearly fell off my chair, working out of a small office in Derby. But she opened my mind up to the possibilities, and that's the thing, isn't it? When you meet new people, they just kind of they open up that vista for you.
Yeah.
So, and I know you mentioned your mentors in here, James, at Graham, wasn't it? Who got you?
Yeah.
Got you thinking in different ways. Those hires are. We are working with an AI integrator at the moment. We've got a smart guy. So I think a lot of companies are kind of filling that seat now. The social media side, it is hard to find people. I struggle to find video editors. That's one thing. I'm always on Upwork, and I still haven't found someone who's decent. So if you guys can let us know, that would be handy. I've spent like the last Sunday 4 hours editing the video myself, and I made a pig's ear of it. So that's something I'd like to get my hands away from. But Anyway, to wrap up, guys, I just wanted to say, it's been fantastic chatting with you guys. There's some fantastic quotes here that I'd like to. The one from yourself, I think is brilliant, James. The best book you've read is the one you've written. I think that's absolutely spot on, and I wasn't expecting to see that. I thought the best book you've read is da 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 da, and I thought, I've got to get my book written one time. And consistency beats perfection. That's something that George is always kicking me around for just not getting stuff out. You guys, it's not about perfection; it's about getting noise out there. Kasra, I love yours. You're ironic. You don't need backlinks to rank comment. Obviously, the link builder. It's the one incident where you see the white hat and that. And we all bite our tongues. It's like, yeah, you've not tested anything, have you, mate? Google parrots. So, and then I liked your bit, Kasra, about you maintaining a balance in life and like maintaining resilience. I think for a younger guy like you, could easily let it go to your head. You're a good role model for young entrepreneurs. I read your piece. I think it was on the Manchester Evening News as well from way back. And rather than kind of a lot of people get jealous of that kind of thing, I was just inspired, and I got my son to read it. It says, this is where you want to be going. So really appreciate you guys for different reasons. George, have you got anything that you want to say to the lads before we sign off?
Nothing in terms of additional to wrap up. I just, very, very grateful you guys come in and look forward to seeing you at the next events.
Yeah, sounds good. I've just got one more thing to say, and what I'd say about you both, which I think is great, is that we could be deemed as being competitors. We both do certain things in the same market and do same services, but generally speaking, I genuinely believe that there's no such thing as competition in our industry. And the reason why I say that is because every time you do a case study, right, that case study shows that backlinks are working. Our biggest competitor is the people sharing misinformation that backlinks don't matter. They're our biggest competition, not us as a link building agency and you as a link building agency, or it's SEO agencies that take $5,000 a month and build one backlink, and it can be a blog comment and build 50 fake Twitter followers. They're our competition because they're not providing value, and the cowboys, and they make us look bad because the industry looks bad. So one thing that I would say with regards to competition is at times you need to go closer to people that are doing good things, because if you can elevate the whole industry, then everybody wins. And that's the biggest key takeaway for me that I love about you two now, is that now you embrace it and understand it instead of thinking, because you touched upon it earlier, Jason, and it got me thinking like, yes, when you was older, you was like, I need to push myself forward. But actually nowadays, the better we do and the more case studies that we show, the better it shows that our methodology helps clients grow. And we need to stop the misinformation that's out there that you only need links. And a lot of them just do it. I know some of them that do it, and they just do it for clickbait titles. You don't need links, you just need content. You don't need links, you just need... And you're just like, come on, guys. Like, you've got people that are taking that serious and not understanding how the algorithms work, and then just thinking that you just need to write good quality content and the links will naturally come and Google will reward you. I want to try and make return on investment for clients, and I want to try and make certain that they understand what is needed. And sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it is difficult, and sometimes it does cost quite a bit of money for a number of months to do it, but then they should start seeing the results. So I just want to give you two a hats off for understanding it and embracing it, because I think it's very important for the industry to give the right information out for clients.
It's actually quite a good point, because I've spoke to a lot of one-man band SEO agencies and smaller SEO agencies, and the commonality between them all is, we're going out pitching SEO services, and the company's already been scammed 4 times off of SEO agencies in London, people that just promise them the dream and stuff like that. But it's actually quite a good point.
Half the battle on sales calls is rebuilding trust in the industry, isn't it? People just don't trust you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's about the marketing as well. We're putting content out now and putting a bit more. I do tend to get a bit carried away with the technical side. We're going to try and put some more of the kind of layman's, more simplified stuff, aren't we, George? We're going to try and do a bit of that, because I can't help it. I get into a topic and I go deep into it, and then I think everyone else understands it. I'll sit in the pub and I'll talk to someone about it, and I can see them glazing over. And I think I've got to be careful I don't do that with my marketing. But, it's just how it is. Okay. Again, look, thanks ever so much, guys. been a pleasure to speak to you. Really looking forward to seeing how the book gets on. I think I got the first review up there, so I'm quite pleased about that. Here's to many more of these kind of books. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Cheers,
for having
Carl.
us.
Cheers, Jason.